the system of equations. We must deal with them all at once. Always looking for solutions. Positive outlook overcome.
Hello, my name is Roy Simpson, professor of mathematics at Cosumnes River College in Sacramento, California. This video is an introduction to linear algebra. For those students who've never taken linear algebra before, welcome to it. It is one of the most fascinating courses in mathematics, at least at the lower division level, and it is the gateway to advanced mathematics. As such, there's just a lot of theory involved in this course, and there's a lot of definitions that you should know stepping into the course. So that's exactly what this next set of videos is all about, is backfilling some definitions, just making sure you're ready for your day one in whatever course you're taking. Well, you're taking linear algebra, but at whatever college you're taking your course at. The interesting thing about linear algebra is that it is taught in a lot of different ways. The worst way to learn linear algebra is if it were a matrix analysis course. In other words, that all you do is compute the entire time. That is actually not the point of linear algebra. The point of learning linear algebra is to learn a lot of logic and to be able to build proofs and logical arguments from a base level of knowledge. So that's what we're going to spend this entire series of videos doing throughout this course. I welcome you to come along with me for the ride. It's a really, really fascinating topic, but let's go ahead and concentrate a little bit right now on some background definitions. And you might find these to be, well, a bit rote, pretty easy, very simple. And that's how a lot of linear algebra is going to feel. It's going to feel on the surface like, is that it? You're just going to ask yourself a lot of those questions like, really? Is that all I'm doing? Truthfully, it's hard, easy work. What I mean by hard, easy work is that the math you're going to do is really low level computationally. However, the theory you're going to be performing with that mathematics is very high level. And it's so high level and so simple almost that you're going to confuse yourself with trying to overcomplicate some of the stuff that you're working on. So again, I'm going to try my best to make sure that you don't overcomplicate things. Really bring it down to a simple level. So let's jump into it. Definition of linear equation. A linear equation in the variables x sub 1, x sub 2, and so on and so forth, all the way to x sub n, so you have n variables, is an equation that can be written in the form that you see right here. I don't need to read off that entire thing. By the way, just as an aside, you will actually see this this definition later in this course, but this is called a linear combination of the variables x1 through xn. It's not important that you know that definition of linear combination yet, but it will become kind of standard fare for this course. Anyhow, anytime that you can write the sum or difference of variables with coefficients a1 through an in an equation like this, where the powers on all the variables are 1, that would be called a linear equation. And again, there's this little statement here where b and the coefficients a1 through an are real or possibly complex numbers. Well, technically, real numbers are complex numbers, so I should just have written that these are just complex numbers. So here are some examples of linear and nonlinear equations. And again, this should be very simple for you, so this is not going to be anything that should blow your mind. So that is a linear equation with complex coefficients, and I say complex coefficients because at 3 plus I, technically, again, all real numbers are actually complex numbers, so anytime you have a coefficient, it's likely to be a complex coefficient, but these are complex coefficients with imaginary units in them. So there you go. That is a great example of a linear equation. Now, a nonlinear equation would be something like, that is nonlinear. We don't like the nonlinear equations when it comes to linear algebra because, well, we don't generally deal with those in linear algebra. So we are really going to focus on linear equations, stuff like this. More specifically, equations like this where the coefficients don't have any imaginary parts to them. So you don't really have to worry about that I situation, generally speaking, in linear algebra. Now I'm doing small little snippets for these videos just because I want you to grab definitions as you need them. So I'm actually done with this video. There's not much here. I just wanted to define what a linear equation was. And then we'll move on to the next one. Just letting you know, there are going to be pieces here that you should pick up on, little things that you may have forgotten. Maybe not in this video, but in other definition videos as you enter your linear algebra course. So I highly recommend watching all the videos in this series. All right, have a great day.
It's the system of equations. We must deal with them all at once. Always looking for solutions. Positive outlook overcomes obstacles getting in our way, cause affects more than we can sometimes see. Things for what they are and work together until you feel at peace. Says, listen close, don't talk too much that isn't cold. Sure, you may really hurt inside. It doesn't justify you to speak too loud and cry.